Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And welcome to UT Waters Spiritual Center. We start this morning's service by opening your hymns with very fun. We have the unity statement of being, and after that we will read the unity 5 principles. Unity statement of being. There is one essence and one power in this church, in our lives, and in the universe. God, the good, omnipotent. Unity principles. Number 1. God is absolute good, everywhere present. God lives in us, therefore we are inherently good. Number 3. We are co-creators with God and create our experiences through our thoughts. Number 4. Prayer is creative thinking, the practice of connection with God Almighty. And number 5. It is not enough to simply know these principles. We must live the truth we know. And please continue to in your hymnals to number 2, the Lord's Prayer. Please stand to sing the Lord's Prayer.
Amen. will shut the door and move within. For we are all on a journey home. We are all on a journey. And our journeys are sacred. They are purposeful and have meaning. Our journeys are unique and not meant to be emulated or duplicated. Indeed, our journeys are a part of us, therefore are as unique as we are. We are the most unique treasure in the universe. For there is none other like us. So as we are in the silence and going within in consciousness, I invite you to reflect on your journey. Reflect on your unique divine purpose. As you are reflecting on this divine journey that is you, for it is inseparable from you. I invite you to contemplate in this Sunday of Advent. Contemplate whether you are experiencing the joyful life that you deserve. Contemplate on aspects of your journey. Reflect on whether you are experiencing all of the beautiful, unique, and rich gifts that your journey offers up to you. And again, I invite you to reflect on whether you are experiencing true joy. What is true joy? How do we experience joyful living? I invite you to send forth that question into your consciousness. manifestations that will spring forth into consciousness as these answers are revealed to you. So be still, my brothers and sisters. Be at peace. Begin to explore this vastness that is within you. For there is so much to explore. So much to uncover. So much to investigate as you journey inwards. As you are now in inner space, the depths of inner space.
With American Symphony, what made you all decide?
Know that this journey is not a doing, but a being. So from that space of being, what do you choose to be in this journey? In this unique expression of human and divine? What intentions do you set forth? What do you decree? What do you see for yourself? I invite you to dwell on these things. As we were enjoying this beautiful peace in this inner space, in the very depths of consciousness. Where there are limitless and infinite possibilities. Right there. These infinite possibilities have no limits, save where you see yourself. So as we are enjoying the silence, enjoying the stillness within, I invite my brothers and sisters here to join me in intention. My is to make space for higher forms of expression. My intention is to create an understanding of higher ways of being. So I invite my brothers and sisters here to join me in intention. For our minds are already joined. Indeed, there is only one mind. And when we set intention, we set the stage to bring about its inevitable manifestation. This is what it means to be a divine being. This is what it means to be limitless and infinite, where you need not know the how. You need only set the intention. Trust in the highest aspect of you, where it will take you there. So join me, brothers and sisters, in gratitude for all prayers are readily answered. And this intention that we've set forth, joined as one, is already done. It's already done. So join me in gratitude for that which we are to receive. Knowing that all things, all experiences work together in this universe for our highest good. Join me in gratitude. Feel that gratitude. In the name and of the loving nature of spirit. Today's message is joyful rays of illumination. This Advent season has been my intent to prepare us by first expanding our understanding of our role and responsibility to humanity. The first Sunday of Advent, my talk was about faith and hope. So in that talked about our responsibility of seeing our brothers and sisters in the highest, seeing the highest in them. That this is our responsibility. And that it's not necessary to go places, and if you choose to, that's fine, but the highest form of expression is actually seeing your brothers and sisters, seeing the highest, because we're always in flux. We're always going through different things. We have good days and we have other days where we perceive it's not good, but those days are still good too. But we don't feel that way, you see. And so sometimes, we need someone to hold the high watch for us. Someone who can see the highest in us like a lighthouse that can guide in a foggy night, that can guide a ship to shore. The second week of Advent, I talked about peace. And so I discussed the responsibility of our brothers and sisters to become peacemakers, to make a difference, because we are all connected. We are all connected to a status quo consciousness, a resonance field, an average resonance field, which is the average consciousness of the planet. And it can be affected in local areas, but for the most part, there's an average resonance field for the entire planet. And we are all contributing to it. We are all contributing to this average resonance field called the status quo. And gradually it is raising. It is raising. I know it doesn't seem that way sometimes, but it is raising. So today, I'm talking about living joyful lives. And so each one of these talks, it's been my intent to have this community be light bringers and create the possibility for quantum shifts in consciousness. So, what is joy? What is joy? So, I had to really think about that. We have, what we think is joy, but then when I really got into it, some of those things that we think is joy is just like an excitement. Like true joy is something that transcends holidays. Something that transcends even our emotions and our state of mind, because again, that always fluctuates. Indeed, true joy is something that you will experience regardless of what you go through, regardless of what you experience, regardless of, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or if it's not a holiday, and you have to go to work, True joy is something that you can still experience underneath it all. So I'm going to discuss that. So, some of our brothers and sisters are not experiencing joy right now. Indeed, the Christmas holiday season can be a time of pain for some of our brothers and sisters. But some of our brothers and sisters are experiencing joy. And some of our brothers and sisters are not. So what is the difference? The difference is the constructs that are going into our experience. And so the constructs, when I really had to look at it, the constructs that go into when we experience true joy are when we feel safe, when we feel loved, when we feel nourished, when we feel uplifted, and when we feel meaning. You see, and then I looked further. I turned to the revealing word, and it talked about a few things. It talked about how joy is gladness of God for its divine idea, humanity. That's us. And it also talked about that joy can be strength-giving when the mind is fixed on things of spirit. So that's what I really want to talk about as far as I'm going to share what are the keys to experiencing true joy, to experiencing an extended form of joy that is not based on whether we're in the holidays or not. So the first key that I want to talk about is spirit. That's the first key. That is the first key. Now, I touched on this in my last talk, where I talked about how, we're all swimming in this average resonance field. But there's a higher field that we can tap into. And that field is spirit. And see, it's like when you have a child and you provide, and this child feels safe, and it feels loved, and it feels nourished because the parents are providing this child with all sorts of encouragement. The child feels nourished. It feels uplifted. So this child is going to flourish. It's going to flourish. It's going to do well in school. This child is not going to be afraid to experiment. This child is not going to be afraid to try things and fail. You see? It's not going to worry about that, you see? It's going to fall down, it's going to pick itself up, and if you try to help, it's going to pull its hand. I can do it myself. That's what this child is going to be emboldened by all of the love and care and nurturing that you have given it. It is going to thrive and excel. Well, it is the same with us, you see. But when we don't have spirit and we feel like we have to rely on our own selves, and then we have all the things that we have in the world, the things that are telling us what to be afraid of, what to worry about, and things like that, you see, that creates a very fearful environment. We don't feel safe, you see. We don't feel safe. We don't feel nourished, you see. We'll get like, we may feel safe from time to time, you know, we may feel safe if we invest in all these things that the media tells us and that our friends tell us as far as what we have to invest into to feel safe. You know, so we invest in all of these external things to feel safe, and that's not, and so we just are in fear, basically. But when you trust in spirit and understand in this first key, like I said, that spirit is the source of everything. You see? Then you're not worried about different channels. Channels are where you perceive that you're getting your good from. Okay? And channels are great if you keep them in the right context. If you keep them in the right context. But see, when you're afraid of losing your channels, you're afraid, again, see, that it doesn't create a joyful life. Is the point I'm trying to make. So it's important to understand that spirit is that fountain. It is that substance. It is that substance that interact with consciousness that will provide you with everything that you need, and it is your highest self. It is your divine self. It is your invisible self. It is that chair that you can always depend on. It will always be there. It will always be there. The next thing that kind of gets in the way before I get into any of the other keys, the next thing that kind of gets in the way as far as you experiencing that joy is when we're going through things, we're going through challenges, we're going through, we go through things. We experience turmoil. We experience life. In the book of James, chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, it reads, brothers and sisters, whenever you experience challenges, see it as a blessing. For these challenges contribute to your growth. And this growth, to its full effect, will create wholeness and completion where we lack nothing. So, I've talked about a lot about these things as well. In the past 2 talks, I've talked about how when we program ourselves to only like the comfortable, to only like the comfort, to only be open to that which produces serotonin, to only be open to that which feels comfortable to do or feels certain, we miss out on infinite possibilities that will create beautiful expressions of what Spirit has in store for us a little bit later on down the line. See, these things, it's important to understand that everything that we experience is good. That's right, I said that. Everything that we experience is good. It's just with rest cycles and growth cycles. It's important to understand that. Our good comes in rest cycles because we need those rest cycles. We need those times to be where we can kind of rest. And we're not going through anything right now. We just kind of, we can bask in the sunshine or look at a sunset or a sunrise. But we also need those growth cycles too, you see. We need those growth cycles because, see, we all have things that we want to do in life. We all have things that we want to accomplish in life. We all have things and ideas and aspirations in life. And so we're not understanding that Spirit is constantly bringing these things forward. The universe is constantly bringing these things to us so that we can continue to be challenged and grow and continue to now be prepared for new areas that Spirit has in store for us. But many of us, we don't see it that way, you see. But this was a 2,000-year-old scripture that was saying exactly the same thing. So the people in the first century Palestine, they saw the same thing. They saw in that status quo where they didn't want to be uncomfortable. They didn't want to go through difficulty. They didn't want to grow. So this is something that kind of steals our joy, because when we are experiencing joy, and then we're actually programmed to think that joy is only supposed to come in this one way, or this one thing, or it has to be this way, then we miss out on the whole point. And so what we're doing is we're not recognizing a friend. We're thinking that this friend is an enemy. We're thinking that this blessing is a curse, is what we're doing. So what else? What else? I forgot to set my timer. So what else? What else produces joy? Purpose produces joy. Purpose. And see, the only way that we are going to step into real purpose is to understand that and to see things beyond the scope of the me, mine, I, the egoic perspective. Okay? So in the Bible, it kind of talks about that. It talks about King Herod, and it talks about the Christ. Now, King Herod represents the ego. And Christ represents humanity. Okay? And so we have a choice. Which one is it? King Herod wants to be the ruler, you see. So we have a choice as far as which one we're going to follow, you see. And so you can follow that me, my, I, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to experience much meaning, because the greatest meaning that one can ever have in life is in service to your brothers and sisters. As far as when it talks about the body of Christ, the Christ is not talking about an individual. The Christ is talking about humanity. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about humanity. So, it talks about the body of Christ. So can you imagine if the big toe just wanted to just do its own thing, or the finger, or the appendix, or wanted to just do it? No. See, these individual components don't have, or parts of the body have no meaning unless they are in service to the whole. And it's the same thing with you. You're only going to experience so much meaning in service to yourself. And that's what these talks have been about. See, this has been about preparing us to be change agents in this world. Because I know what you can do. I know what you can do. And I've seen the growth. And you are not the same person that you were even since last week. You are not the same person. So the only way that you are going to experience purpose and meaning is through service to your brothers and sisters as far as in mankind. In being kind to your brothers and sisters, in recognizing that this is really your brother or your sister, in recognizing that this is really you in another story from other parents. But this is your equal, and they go through the same things that you go through. And you know something? How many times have you needed a kind word or gesture? How many times have you gone through things and needed someone to maybe see the highest for you? Maybe tell you, and remind you of something that you kind of temporarily forgot. You see? This is our responsibility to each other. And that was the whole Christ idea. It was an idea to teach humanity to begin to work together and see themselves as part of a collective. That was the whole idea of the Christ. Because before then, yes, we were all in Eagleville. We were all just, doing our things, or in our own tribes. We were tribal. And so they had this idea, this Christ idea. It's so much more than just you. This is about all mankind. And what are you doing? What difference are you making? So, why do I say all of this? Because, see, we talk about experiencing joy, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable unless you are stepping into these greater spaces that spirit or that life is really trying to prepare us for. And recognizing that life is preparing us for these spaces, and not getting upset because life is preparing us for these spaces, but being joyful and seeing it as a blessing when life is preparing us for these spaces, and trusting in spirit, and understanding that you're not going to be afraid as far as this job or anything like that. Because why? Because Spirit's going to replace that. Spirit's got you. Spirit's got you. No matter what, Spirit has you. It doesn't matter. And not being so invested in the channels. See, all these things work together to create true joy. You see? True joy. There is no one thing. So all these things that work together to experience true joy, where you're not worried about what you see on the news, you see? You're not worried about when they say be afraid, be very, very afraid, because you're not afraid, you see, because you know your safety lies in spirit. You're not worried about if somebody tells you this or tells you that, and as far as like, you losing this or losing that, whatever this thing that you might be afraid of losing, because you know that you know something, if that channel goes away, that just means that a better channel for that same something is coming. That's what that means. And so applying your faith there, and not on the individual channels, but let me tell you something, channels change. They change. Channels change. As long as we are in this world, there's going to be change. And so if you are focusing and fixing on a changeable world and thinking that you're going to have any type of security or safety there, the only thing you're doing is setting yourself up for more fear. That's all you're doing. Everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how do we create sustainable? So I actually got the whole list. So how do we create a sustainable, joyful life? A sustainable, joyful life. Can everybody say that? A sustainable, joyful life. All right. How do we create that? How do we create that? Well, there was a couple other things that I was like, it's not really a 20-minute talk. It'll be like a 40-minute talk if I keep doing everything. But I put some key points. Put some key points in there. I already covered a couple of them, but it takes a mindset. It takes a mindset and it takes a practice. So we get to the mindset first. And the mindset takes a willingness to trust in spirit. Now, I've already said in a previous talk, you don't have to. If you have the willingness, that's really all you need to start with. You know, I understand that you've been indoctrinated into another way of thinking. You were indoctrinated into another way of thinking that did not teach you to trust in the Spirit, you see? So I get that, okay? But just have the willingness to trust in the Spirit. Okay, just start there. Let's just start there. Because once you have the willingness, then things will begin to take place and be set in motion, which will bring about its eventual manifestation. Have a willingness to trust in the Spirit as your source for everything. And you will see as you see what happens with Spirit being your source for everything, and you see that everything is just continuing to get better, and when you see channels, which channels are still going to go. They are going to go eventually. And you see greater channels continue, see, that will help to instill a greater faith that you can continue to trust in the Spirit, you see? Spirit will give you what you need at all times. So, a willingness to trust in the Spirit, and you will see some miraculous things happen. Just that. If you don't need to take anything else from this talk, a willingness to trust in Spirit. Just that. And watch how so much fear leaves. See, fear is what robs us of our joy. It is fear that robs us of our good. And the good is there, we just don't see it when we have the fear. We just get blinders when we have the fear, you see? It's there, but we're not recognizing it, you see? We're thinking a friend is an enemy. Everybody follow me? Okay. The next thing I would say is have the willingness to understand that everything that you experience is for your good. Everything. Everything. I know status quo teaches you something else. I get that. I know you've been indoctrinated into a system of thought where it teaches you something different. I get that. Okay? I'm just saying have a willingness. That's all I'm saying. Have the willingness or the open-mindedness to see or to understand that everything that you experience is either a rest or growth. It's either a rest cycle, because we need those rest cycles too. We do. We need those rest cycles, or a growth cycle, and we definitely need those. And that's all. It just boils down to those two things. A rest cycle or a growth cycle. How's a growth cycle bad? How's a growth cycle that's challenging you and pushing you and expanding you? How is that bad? You see? Okay. And the next thing I would say, and this is for more meaning and purpose in your life, in your lives, I would say have a willingness to understand that you are one perspective, one point of view, one idea in 8 billion ideas, you see? One, okay? And each one of these ideas is interconnected and has a responsibility to each other, whether they realize it or not. You see, it doesn't matter whether you can be aware or not aware, but it doesn't matter. You see, each one of these ideas is contributing to this average resonance field, number one. Okay, so what this other idea, whatever they're going to, they could be in another whole other country. You see, the things that they're contributing to that field are impacting you, and vice versa. Okay? And so when you begin to realize that, you can actually begin to make a choice. What do I want to contribute to this field? What do I want to contribute to this field? You see? You know, because see, once you start understanding your role as far as in the grand scheme of things, see, this builds meaning. Once you see that you actually, that the highest expression of love is service, see, that builds purpose in your life. That builds meaning in your life. You don't have to know the person. You don't have to be in your circles. You don't have to be your bridge partner. No. This is like somebody you just met at the grocery store. Everyone. And when you begin to see them, and just have a willingness, I'm not saying that you're going to see it, because again, you've been indoctrinated in the way of thinking, as far as a me, my, I type of thinking. You were indoctrinated in it. And this kind of thought paradigm takes time. This is a rewiring. It takes a while for neuroplasticity to rewire in your brain to where you can begin to comprehend and begin to really, really embrace it. It takes a while. But just have the willingness. Because see now you're going to be seeing yourself in expanded places, though. See, now you're going to be seeing yourself in expanded roles and responsibilities, and you will be experiencing meaning. And guess what? You'll be experiencing joy. You start to experience a constant state of joy. Not a joy that's dependent on whatever you thought it was dependent on in the old way that you had of thinking. Okay? Now you begin to open up this portal to what Jesus, our elder brother, way short Rabbi Yeshua, Jesus, was talking about the kingdom of heaven. It's a state of mind, a state of consciousness that is not dependent on any external circumstances to be any type of way for you to experience happiness and joy. You see? Where you can walk in the world no matter what's going on, and you'll be a light, and people will begin to be attracted to your light. They will begin to be drawn to your light. You see? You will see a change and a shift going on within you. You will begin to literally be a change agent. Without even trying, without even really doing anything. We're not saying that you got to go and join the Red Cross and go across the world. No. Just doing exactly what you're doing. Knowing who you are and knowing who your brothers and sisters are, you will literally begin to shift consciousness, and spirit will then begin to bring people to you, you see? People that are indoctrinated into that old way of thinking, and spirit will bring them to you. And then you have a choice. Will you go ahead and say back to them what they just said in this lower order way of thinking that they're at? Or will you say something that will create this spark in their consciousness, you see? You don't have to do it. It doesn't matter, if they respond we're not worried about how they respond. There's something that you can say from this new way of seeing that will create a spark in their consciousness, and then you go on about your business, you see? And so you've already planted a seed, you see? The Spirit will send more people your way, and you will be able to impact them the same way, and you will create shifts in consciousness. This is what you can do. As I stated, in first century Palestine, they were waiting for someone else to come do it. They were waiting for somebody to come save them. They were waiting for our elder brother, Yeshua, Ben Joseph, to come and save them. Well, now the world is waiting on you. It's waiting on you. So what will you choose? You see? What will you choose? Everybody follow me? Okay. I got an affirmation. All right. Okay. Everybody repeat after me. I stand in the joy I create from within.
I stand in the joy I create from within.
All right. And that's what another statement. I am worthy and deserving.
I am worthy and deserving
Of a life filled with joy and happiness.
of a life filled with joy and happiness.
Let me say this. Begin to contemplate what an infinite being really is, you see? See, we hear these words all the time. We hear about your infinite, infinite, infinite. But see, we don't have a real context. But see, now I can see the light bulb starting to go off as far as what an infinite being really is and can do, and what this actually can mean for you, and how this can actually show up in your life. Begin to contemplate and explore it more. Explore it. You can do anything. Now, who will be that light that your Father, Mother, God intended for you to be? Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Fleming. So motivational. This is our time for tithes and offerings. Let's see our abundant blessing. Divine love. Bless us and multiply us, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love, flowing through me. Bless us and multiply us, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love, flowing through me. Bless us and multiply us, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, it is so now. And the QR code. Also, copies of today's service are available on CD at the front desk. We have prayer chaplains who are available for one-on-one confidential prayer, and they will be at the front of the sanctuary at the end of the service. You can also find us on YouTube and on Facebook. And today is a special day because following our service today, we have a tea and a membership luncheon, and everyone, including visitors, are welcome to attend. Next Sunday is a special happening here as well. We have a Christmas Eve candlelighting ceremony during the Sunday service. And we also have, starting at 10:30, the choir will be singing some Christmas carols, and some of them are sing-along, so please come on and sing along with us. Do we have any new visitors today? Anyone's first time here? Okay. Now we do a prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.